is. Bless up yourself, don't stress up yourself. Roll another one. Me roll another one and me no roll it for fun. Me roll another one and me no roll it for fun. Me roll it for the brothers locked up in a prison. Me roll it for the people seek salvation. Well, Emmanuelize, Selassie, Rastafari. Yes, well, family. Today we're gonna reason on the King, His Majesty, and his meditation on race consciousness. We're gonna set this spliff so we got a bonfire. More fire. Fire for the purification. Bless the bride family. Black again. Bless up. Yes, His Majesty. Rastafari. Speaking on race. And we're gonna use a very internationally known speech that was given by Emperor Selassie Rastafari, King of Kings of Ethiopia. And it goes like this. The king say, until the philosophy which holds one race superior to another. Now that's the first line, that we could carefully begin to look into. The mere fact that Rastafari stated that until the philosophy which holds one race, it shows that the emperor was very race conscious. This is very important because we had a very young, famous, upcoming singer. Many know him around the world as, Robert Nesta Marley, aka better known as Bob Marley. Bob Marley was a very influential person in the continuation and the regurgitation of that very, speech that the emperor made. In that, Bob Marley, a Jamaican reggae artist, decided to take the emperor's speech and make a song of it, and many people may know that song. But at the same time, the ideology that Mr. Marley, Robert Nesta Marley, was carrying out was a bit different than what the emperor was speaking of. The emperor was very race conscious, whereas Bob Marley, who sang his very speech, was not so race conscious, as Bob Marley spoke of one love, and everybody, interracial marriages, interracial communities, interracial countries, Yes, Royal Family, give thanks for coming in, Mr. Forbes, back again. Yes, Honorable Majesty. Yes, so through His Majesty, through Bob Marley going to the earth singing Rastafari's song and, his ideology, Naya Bingi ideology, or Ethiopian Orthodox Christian, whatever his faith was. It was focused on interracial capacities, beyond what was known, like interracial marriages again, interracial communities, interracial countries and governments and all that stuff, and he called that one love. But when we listen to His Majesty did not say that. His Majesty said, until the philosophy which holds one race superior than another. He never said that we were to interracially mix. He was speaking about a race, thinking they superior to another race. So let's talk about some race of people, because we're the human race. Racism and race consciousness is two different things. Racism is that which the emperor spoke against. Racism is the philosophy that one race is superior to another. That's racism. You see, race superiority or race consciousness is being supreme within your own race. You're not above another race. You're just supreme within your race. Black supremacy, white supremacy, Chinese supremacy, Indian supremacy. These are the races on this planet. And the emperor speak of race superiority. Everyone is superior within themselves. No one is superior to another. But the emperor did not come to eradicate race consciousness. He came to eradicate racism. He said until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes. So Bob Marley and a lot of Rasta man and a lot of people say, okay, so that means I can marry a white woman because it don't matter if her skin white or it'll make no difference than the color of her eye. That's not what the emperor was saying. He was talking in regards to human rights for all races, irregardless of the color of your skin, your class, your creed. It was just about human rights for all races. Not racist, but races. Because there are multiple races on this planet. We're called the human race. You could never change that. Removing racism from the planet does not remove the fact that we are a human race with multiple races in the humanity. You have the Chinese race, Indian race, the Black African race, the white European race. You have the Latino Caribbean race. You have different race of people. And they identified by the color of their eyes and by the shape of their eyes and by their hair and by their skin. That's how we identify the races. But the king said these identification should not exclude you from the basic human right. No matter if you Chinese eye, you full big Indian eye, it don't matter what color your eye is. It don't matter what color your skin is. Your basic human right has to be equally guaranteed, was the king's message. It was not about racial integration, because the king had a problem with racial integration. As the European Italian Mussolini and his fascist regime thought they could come into Ethiopia and intermingle, interracial mix, and run the Ethiopian government and run the Ethiopian people, to say that the black king or the black government of Ethiopia is not suffice for the betterment of the people. So they seek interracial actions, as they still do today. The European world feel the black race is inferior to take care of themselves, to handle their affairs, to produce, manufacture their resources, to take care of their healthcare concerns, and to keep peace and equity among the land. They see the black race as inferior. So the European comes in with the interracial mixing as the apartheid in South Africa, which still exists. The white European in South Africa think they could run South Africa better than the black South African. This is racism. South Africa don't need white people to maintain it. It's been maintained without white Europeans for millions of years before the white man came. So what are they talking about? This is apartheid occupation. Just as in the Middle East, the white Zionists came from Europe and say the Palestinians and the black Jews cannot handle this land. We can go and occupy this land, and it's the same thing all around. It's this continuous racism. And their job is to get the world brain flush from race consciousness. They want you to believe that everyone in the world is equal. Everyone can interracially, interact. That's one of the biggest issues right now in the Middle East. They speaking about anti-Semitism and all these things. White people coming to convert to a religion or a belief system where only black people can participate. That's the Israelites. The Israelites are black people. They don't supposed to sleep with no other nation. It was against the law, and it's still against the Levitical law. If you go read the Levitical law in the Bible, which the Levites are one of the tribes of Israel, and is the priestical tribe that carries the law for Israel. And according to the priestical order of the Levites, Israelites, black African Israelites, cannot sleep with the European, with the Chinese, with the Indian. They were different names at that time, what we'll know as the Philistines and all these different nations. Israel was not allowed to have relationship with them and have children with them. Every time they did that, God vexed and removed that prophet or removed that king or cast him down because he was doing what God did not want Israel to do. Interracially mingle with the other nations. So when the white Zionists, Europeans in the Middle East, saying there's Jews, how you get Jews? Which black Jew you sleep with to make you a Jew? We don't supposed to do that. Jews don't supposed to sleep with Europeans. You see, so that's the big issue. And when you tell them that, then they say you racist. How the hell I get racist that's race conscious? If you have a black race that is conscious that they are black and they don't want to sleep with other races, that's race consciousness. That's not racism. I have a right to sleep within my own race. It's not obligated that I go sleep with a Chinese or Indian. No, that's not in the law of life. I sleep with my mama, the woman who look like my mama. If my mommy black, my wife's supposed to be black African. My mommy black and my wife is a Chinese. Where that fit in? No, if I was a Chinese and then my mommy is a Chinese, then my wife should be a Chinese. We cook the same food, we make up our bed the same way. That's one culture. It's no clash of culture. They keep away the superiority, the race for superiority. What are we eating this weekend, this strong end? Chinese food or African food? What are we wearing tonight? Chinese clothes or African clothes? It's a fight for culture. So it's cheaper you stay with your own race. What we cooking tonight? African food, because we both African. Would we wearing African clothes, because we both African? Who we going to pray to bless? Our African God, because we both African. But through this false interpretation of His Majesty, they use reggae and many different outlets to push this interracial marriaging and, migration. You have people from every country want to live in another person country. Come on. You have to think about that. If the whole of China want to move to Africa, where the Africans going to live? Just think about it logically. If everyone in China decide to say, you know what, I have just as much right to be in Africa as the Black African. Africa is my home because God created the world for everyone. So all the Chinese, the millions or trillions of Chinese, in their mind say, hey, we want to move to Africa. China is too cold, too much rain, whatever. And they come take up occupation land in Africa. Where the Africans supposed to move now? So, no. Don't make sense. It don't make sense. All that interracial stuff is these evil people trying to be tricky. They let you build up a country. Once your country has resources, they then use up all their resources. So now your country has resources. So they open up this interracial world of migration where you could go wherever you want. So if you're a European and you use all the water in Europe and water in Africa, you could go to South Africa and say, I'm a South African now. I want some water. The world don't run like that. It never supposed to run like that. If you're a white man in Europe and you use up all your water, carelessly, do whatever you feel like. We preserve our water in Africa. You have the right to travel away from Europe, across the Middle East, North Africa, go to South Africa and sit down and say you're a South African and start drinking South African water. So when every nation run out of the resources because of their big hotels and their golf course and their Olympics and their fast NASCARs, when they waste up all their resources, eating food and throwing away, the extras and feeding their canine dogs and all these things. And, when they use up every resource, what they do, just come to Africa and say, I'm African now? The Chinese come and say, I'm African. The Indian come and say, I'm African. Everybody just come into Africa and just become African all of a sudden. When things good in China, they talking bad about the Africans. When things good in Europe, we don't have nothing to do with them niggas. And people who eat they self and all kind of thing they talk about. But now America running out of oil and Palestine and these places want getting no oil and Europe and Russia and all them falling out. Everybody eye on Africa. They all Africans now. Black African will be a fool as a race to let other races milk you and treat you like a ignorant child. Africa is the father of the races because we is the first race. And we're not even racist. We're race conscious that all races came out of us. Now the races what came out of us telling us we don't have no place on earth. We don't have no status. There's no such thing as race. If I say I'm proud to be black, you're racist. But you fly your Chinese flag every day. You fly your European flags every day. You fly your Indian flags all over the United Nations. You proud to be Chinese. You proud to be Indian. You proud to be European. But the minute I say proud to be black, oh, that's racism. Yeah, you all think black people stupid. Ain't all black people like that. Some black people very intelligent. We come directly from God. Some of us eat and drink after the white man and the Indian and Chinese and wear their hair, and they trick some of the black people. Trick them to think that there's a superior race, that we need to depend on them for something. I don't understand how a nation could depend on another nation that was pre-existent all nations. If I was in a house before everyone else come to this house, how do I have to depend on the people that just came into the house? I built the house. I know where everything is in the house. I've been fixing and repairing this house for years before they even existed. So now you come and tell me, oh, I got to bring Jesus, Buddha, Vishnu to Africa to fix the house. Bullshit. I hardly don't bust guile, never online, but that's a bunch of foolishness, bro. That's crap. Yeah, all this games they playing with us, and that's why they pay Bob Marley so much money. That's why they spread him all over the world. One love, him and his white wife. Remember? The white wife who he leave the black wife in Jamaica suffering for this interracial movement. By fire bun. If black people continue to practice interracial marriages, they will always lose. Because the Chinese, the Indian, and the white men are very race conscious. Even the Latino, the Mexico and all the Honduras and all, they conscious of their race. But the black man and women is the only people who being tricked. Oh, you know such thing as race? We all God's children. We all one. Our blood is the same. Bull crap. It's impossible for all our blood to be the same. Because the skin of a black man contains more carbon per atom than a white man. So chemically, all the anatomy is different. That's what makes us black and makes you not black. We're not the same. We're humans, but not the same kind of human. One human have more carbon than the other. One can resonate higher than the other. One can absorb more from the sun than the other. One can sing, dance, jump, shout, run, swim, anything better than the other. Why? Because one resonate higher. One is the first. The original DNA, the original old blood is the black man. So when they want to talk about racism, they don't want black people to talk racist because we could throw some low blow. Black people could throw some very low blow. Enough black people just don't know their history. They don't know the truth about their history. They only know his story, what the white man been telling us, what the Chinese been telling us, what the Indian been telling us. That's their story. What's our glory? What's the truth? If we only know, like Marcus Garvey say, a pinch of the truth of who we are, but a white man and other races will bow down to you tomorrow, today, to now. We are very superior people, but humbled. Black people is the first people on the planet, but humbled. Which father hates their children? The Bible speaks of this. The Bible says just how fathers on earth give gifts to their children and not stones for food. You think the black race can give the other nations stones for food? We always give the other nations presents and gifts. We give them gold. We allow them to have access to our oil. But now the father of the nations need to put our foot down. And that's what's happening in Africa today. We have vigilant leaders arising in Africa today to show the other nations and races, hey, we've been letting y'all come in and have y'all fun, but y'all taking advantage. So we have to put our foot down as the father of all the nations, as the bread basket of the world. We have to put our foot down. Y'all come in, you steal, you rape, you rob, you kill. We forgive y'all, we forgive y'all, we forgive y'all. We listen to y'all. We gone through your colonial process. We gone through your democratic process. We gone through your religious process, and it never benefit Africa. So we done with the other races and the playing round. Yeah, all the children and nations that don't get it together right now, yeah, we have to cut them down. Yeah, death to white and black oppressors. Oppression have to stop. It's not African. It's not the original man. It's the fallen races that gone into this misogynistic, egotistic, barbaric, forceful lifestyle of invading countries and people and nations and interracial raping, now legalized as interracial marriages. That was only done in even biblically. It's because a king conquered that land that he would take a woman of that kingdom to be wife, to make allies. If the king refused to give any of his daughters to the conquering king for ally, he would kill our whole family and everyone in the kingdom. But if a woman was given over to make allies with the family, that's how connection was made. You know, this the kingdom of God. Democracy and politics, that's Satan kingdom. Divide and rule and politics, that's Satan kingdom. And God kingdom, yeah, either you on the Lord's side or you against him. And if you want to, in them days, that's how they make allies. But God tells Solomon not to do that. Don't go make allies with no Europeans, these white European people. Because why they doing this foolishness up to today? That's why they in the Middle East calling themselves Jews. Because Solomon sleep with one white European woman and build a temple in Jerusalem for her. That's their temple in Jerusalem. To their pagan God. That's what Solomon built for the Europeans. That's why they down claiming. Say they Jews. But God removed the Ark of the Covenant from Palestine. He removed the Ark of the Covenant from ancient Israel. He took it from Solomon with Solomon's son Menelik into Ethiopia. In Ethiopia today still have the Ark of the Covenant. And where the Ark of the Covenant is, that's where the Shekinah glory is. That's where God is. Solomon knew that. David knew that. Eli knew that. All the prophets knew that. Moses knew that. Wherever the Ark of the Covenant is, that's where God is. It's the presence of God. It's the tabernacle of God. It's in Ethiopia. It's not in the Middle East. The people in the Middle East say the Ark of the Covenant buried somewhere. How could you bury God? Well, Holy Emmanuel, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari, it in a cave. How could you put God in a tomb? Fire burn them things. That's a living God. Because the word is God. The Bible says in the beginning, the word was God. It is God. So the word in the Ark of the Covenant, that is God. You can't bury God. You can't put God in a tomb. When they try to put Christ in a tomb, what happened? He bust the tomb and become a living God again and went teaching on. And its disciples say, look at Christ return again. That was quick. Yeah, God in flesh. Yeah, you can't kill God. You can't put God in the ground. What kind of news that is? The Ark of the Covenant buried somewhere. God is buried somewhere. You all Israelites really believe that, black Israelites? You all really believe our holy Ark of the Covenant with the golden cherubims and the book with the 7 seals? What King Rastafari opened in 1930? Bust the seals out of the Ark of the Covenant, the book with the 7 seals. That buried somewhere under the ground and no one know where it is. So who the hell can find it? If no one don't know where it is. Like they say, they find the emperor body under the toilet. He never say some dumb things. How you could find something? If you claim you kill him. They claim they kill the king, but yet they find him. Morning, sis. How's everything? Blessed love. You can't find the emperor if you kill him. I mean, if you kill him, you know where you put him. So where you put him? No, you put some bones under the toilet and then you say that's the emperor. Yeah. That's propaganda, man. That's what they do. They lie. The people in the Middle East say they have the Ark of the Covenant, but it's buried. Where? No one knows. So how we can find it? We just can happen to run up into it one day by the will of God. That's foolishness. where there's a whole history, both in the Quran and in the Bible, not just the Bible. So if you don't believe the Bible, you got the Quran testify that the Queen of Sheba and Seba, which is Eastern Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Kush, straight to Ethiopia. That was her land. She was the queen of that land. You see? Yes. The Quran testify of this. She is the mother of Menelek, Solomon, daddy. That's how the fire boy make me say daddy. Solomon father. Yeah, that's how the Ark of the Covenant get into Ethiopia. Through Menelek, the son of Queen of Sheba. This is a glory known all over Africa, even to Arabia, even to Palestine. Because Palestine is not a people. Palestine is a land. It's not a people. Yeah, the Palestinian is a collective of different, Muslim people. They both Ishmael and Esau children descent. It's a mixture. So Palestinian people is not a blood direct line of one set of people. It's multiple people living in the Gaza Strip, in the Palestine country. But it make you feel like, that's like America. America is just not Europeans, or it's a mixture of people, you see, living in America. But they call them Americans. But not everyone in America is from the indigenous land of America. They're called occupiers. But see, it's that way. That's why in Palestine there's have a conflict with Lebanon and all these different Muslim, Esau and Ishmael. They have their own issues, a conflict of who's supposed to own the land. Because, it's a separation even within the brotherhood, in the Middle East. So the Europeans, they meet, the Middle East in a conflict between three brothers. Yeah, Esau, Jacob, and Ishmael, these three black people. Yeah. And then the Europeans convert, they claim, to Judaism and become the European Zionists, And now they say they have a part in the conflict. They come in the name of Israel to remove the Palestinian people. So it's a lot going on there. It's a lot going on there. And it's mostly racism. It's just all racism. It's embedded in racism, not race consciousness. Because if the people were race conscious, then the Palestinian, the Lebanese, the Turkish, the Iranian, the Egyptian, the Ethiopian, the South African, the Zimbabwean, the Malawian will all come together and fight the Zionists, the Europeans. You see, if we was race conscious, we would understand that America, which is originally Rome, it was established by Romans, who are now known as the United Europe nations, the EU, the Europe Union is the rebuilding of ancient Rome. It's them who built America under Columbus and all those different explorers. They come and enslave Africans. Remember all of this? It was always these white people doing some stuff, bro. And up to the day, they're still doing it. They so tricky. The Europeans bring themselves and merge themselves into Judaism. Yeah. And now they killing black Jews. Right in Jerusalem, you'll see the white Israeli fighting the black Jew who originally from there. If you go check some of the older photos of Israel, like in the 40s, and you could Google it, just Google Israel newspaper, the 40s, stuff like that. You see these super black people walking around all around Jerusalem praying to the wall. These black people, not much white people there. This before the occupation. After the Zionists come and fight and push their way in Europe, I mean in the Middle East and Israel, now you have a bunch of white people to the wall praying. Where the black people? Very few. Because these the Europeans fighting a race war again through religious means. They're using religion to push the white supremacy agenda. That's why the emperor said, until they stop this race superiority, where the European won't be superior to everybody else, it can cause war. The war is not because we don't want to interracially mix. The war is not because I don't want to marry a white woman. That's not what the war is about. The war is because the white race think that they're superior to me. They could come in my country, take my religion, and then own it, and then occupy my land and put my brothers out. Because the Israelites, the original Israelites, the black Israelites, Abraham, Jacob Israelites, Jacob, they know Esau is our brother. They know Ishmael is our brother. They know why we was fighting. Because Jacob steal Esau birthright. And we already sought this out. When Yeshua Christos come in 2,000 years ago and bring salvation to both Esau, Jacob, and fireball Ishmael, all the brothers was able to see salvation in the Christ. And that's why you have even in the Quran, through our Muslim brothers, you have Islam was formed, which is the worship of Jesus Christos, the black Christ. So you have both the Muslim and the black Israelite praising Yeshua, the black Christ. So it was a union of the brothers of the house of Abraham. And even Emperor of Ethiopia, Rastafari say, the Muslim brothers and the Ethiopian Christ followers is one people. Anyone that say we are different, they are enemies to Ethiopia. So anyone in the Middle East that's saying that the black Israelite in the Middle East, in Palestine, and the Palestinian people, Muslims, are not brothers, are not one, they are enemies to Ethiopia. So the Ethiopian government, I don't know what their stance is today, in that actual region part of Ethiopia. But I know we, the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress, the embassy of His Majesty, stand against division between the Black House of Israelite and our Muslim brothers, our Islam brothers. Because we all one father's children, we Abraham children. And it's true to our mother, Jacob mother. She grafted that into heavens, Jacob never grafted that. Jacob was a little boy. Jacob was a little boy. And his mommy grafted into his head because they had different parents. And Esau was the older brother. And she said to him, go and do these things, and you will receive the blessing. That was trickery on behalf of his mother, not trickery on behalf of Abraham, not trickery on behalf of Jacob. It was not trickery on behalf of Esau. Esau lose his birthright because he belly. Yeah, he sell his birthright because of his belly. And every Muslim, Ishmaelite, must understand this. Yeah. They must know the history of what we was dealing with. Why all this rivalry between the black race? Arabs, Ethiopians, South Africans, whatever, Egyptians. Why was there always war between us? It started with these Abraham thing. Yeah, it's, and a lot of other reasons, but more so when we speak about Ishmael, when we speak about Muslims, speaking about Israelites, black Israelites, that's Abraham children. Yeah, and that's what's going on. The mother steal the birthright from the other mother because she wanted her child to be more blessed than the older. And it was a custom in Israel that the older child get the blessing, irregardless. Even if the handmaid had the child and the wife didn't have the child first, the oldest child have to get the blessings. So this woman catered this in her mind, to get her, and that's what we didn't over that. We didn't over that. Because right in the same glory, you could see where God said he was going to bless Esau's children. Still, Abraham still bless Esau. Yeah, he telling me he'll fight for his food, but he can be full. Because it was his belly who get him in trouble in the first place. He sell his birthright for porridge, for food. So Abraham said, yes, you're going to have food. You're going to be blessed with food. You can never starve, but you're going to fight for it. And when you look at the Muslim nation, when you look at the Palestinian, when you look at these Arab nations, they always fighting for their food. They fight. They always got to fight. They always defend their land. Someone was trying to invade their land. Someone was trying to take their food. Right now in Gaza, they cut off the what? Water and the food. For Esau children, for Ishmael children. They cut off the water and the food. Who? The white European Zionists. So now Hamas have to come and fight for your food. That's just prophecy. Until, we totally eradicate the Zionist, colonialist, white, evil, white supremacist world. This is the world that created the League of Nations, that created the United Nations. That's why the United Nations is ineffective in these scenarios, because the United Nations was created by white supremacists. It was created by people that see one race superior than the other. America is the lead patron in the United Nations, and they're the most racist country in the world. 400 years of slavery prove it. And they still don't like black people in America. They didn't even write us in the Constitution of America. So, yeah, Abraham Lincoln will write the Constitution and slaves while he was writing the Constitution of freedom. All man is free in the eyes of God. And he have slaves while he writing that. So a black man in America is not even considered a human. He's an animal. Yeah, human rights is for humans. It's not for animals, these black people. The man who writing the Human Rights Constitution in America have slaves the same time he writing it. Does that make any sense to you? That's what we're dealing with. A whole world. The Bible says in Psalms chapter 2, all the nations and kings take counsel. Counsel means they sit down and talk against the Lord. Which Lord? The Ethiopian Africans and all the saints, all the people of Africa. Saying, let us cast away the cord. Cord means your birth and biblical cord. Let's cut off their generation. Let's cut off their nation. Yeah, let's cut them off from being a nation. Even if we call them Bahamian, Jamaican, Haitian, American, once they African. Yeah, so I go in South Africa. South African don't mean a black person no more. South African mean a person who live in South Africa. You could be white, European, and you could be South African. You could be Indian, live in South Africa. You could be a South African. You could be a Chinese, living in South Africa, and you're a South African. So they cutting us off from being a nation. They cutting us off from being a people. So indirectly, there could be no such thing as African. And that's what's happening right now. The word African means any country, any people. White, Chinese, Indian, once you live there, you're African. That's retarded. Black people in China is not Chinese. Unless they have Chinese ID, indigenous Chinese. Someone from the Congo can't jump on the plane and move to China and say they're Chinese. The Chinese people ain't accept that. They say, go, remember the pandemic? They were sending all the Africans back home. Remember in Europe, COVID, the COVID time, they were sending all the Africans, go back to Africa. But Africans don't do that. Come on. When we do that, they say we racist. We ethnic cleansing. All this crap. We're getting people off our land. That's what Hamas is trying to do. Get the white Europeans off their land from occupying their land for over 70 years. Go back to Europe and be Jews in Europe if you want to be Jews. Because your own white European people was persecuting you for calling yourself a Jew and you know you ain't no Jew. Hitler know they ain't no Jews. So they was in Europe walking around like there's some holy people, like there's the chosen people of God. And Hitler say, hell no, y'all ain't no chosen people of God around here. Y'all Romans, playing slick, trying to take over the world in the name of these Israelite people. Hitler say the slaves in America, the blacks, they the Jews, not y'all. That's why Hitler dealt with them people like that. Not because he was a bad person, because he understood their strategy. They were his own European brothers who went in the Middle East, got these titles as Jews, come back to Europe now and say they run in Europe. Hitler say, never. Never. It's not gonna happen. Yeah, Europe is from an old, ancient system. Yeah, that have different ideologies. They have different gods, different parts of Europe. Every nation of Europe have a different god. That's why they followed in the first place. There was once Rome, then they split into 10 kingdoms. The Greeks and all these, they start creating their own god. They have their own issues, bro. Yeah, right up there in Europe. So, yeah, Hitler say, hold on. We got our own issues to deal with. We all come talk about this Jewish thing now. Y'all ain't no Jews? And he tell you Ethiopia, go back to Ethiopia. Go to the land of the Jews. Go to the Ark of the Covenant. Don't be up here in Europe talking crap. Hitler didn't want that Jewish religion up there because it's not European, bro. It's not European in nature. And the Zionists were not just participating in Europe as a religion. They was taking over government. Working with America, that's how they occupy in the Middle East right now. That's how they run in the world right now, basically. The Zionists, the fake Israelis, they run the whole of America. They pay all the politicians' campaigns. It's the Israelis that do that, the Zionists. Because these Zionists are not Jews. If you could really just get the religious name off of them and just look at the race. When you look at the race, you could say, no, they ain't Jews. They're Europeans playing slick. First they come with Christianity, now they come with Zionism. First they say Jesus is a white man. Yeah, and heaven is a white God up there. That's what they come with. When that didn't work, then they convert to Judaism, so-called, and now saying there's Jews. And say God promised the European the Middle East. That make any sense to you? God promised the white European the Middle East. Point and fact, even if they want to claim Japhet, the son of Noah, built the white race, even if they claim that, Japhet built Europe, he didn't build the Middle East. Yeah, Ham, remember the brothers? Yeah, he was known for, and he was not white. All the Noah children was black. The white people come from Gehazi and Nahum. God cursed their skin with leprosy. I say this in every video because people still trying to figure out where white people come from. God said he cursed their whole skin white as snow for all their generation. It's the only generation that have that snow skin. You look in the world, only them look like snow. They named Nahum descendants, which is our children. So it's not even a racist comment. It's just knowledge, acknowledgement of truth, facts. The Bible is facts. I don't care what they say, because I see it clear. I see the people who say they are Jews, but they are not. The Bible says in the book of Revelation, which means in the last days, and these days to come, which is now. He said there are gonna be someone who say they are Jews, but they are not. Bobo Shanti say they is Jews. We say we is Hebrews, we is ancient Israelites. That's the truth. All the blacks scattered in the West, the people who even say there's Israelites, you know, the Israelite brothers, you know, they Israelites for true. They ain't lying. Because Deuteronomy 28 say Israel be carried into slavery a second time by ships into a strange land that they don't know. That's America's. We brought into these lands in slavery. Even when the first settlers came over, they met Israelite Hebrew texts and documents, proving that we was Israelites. Even before the slave ship bring us, we had prior escaped Assyria, into these strange lands and occupy these lands. So we is Israel, no doubt. Yeah, we is Israel. But the Europeans, no. No. They're the cursed generation. You call it the Gentiles. Yeah, they was cursed by God. Yeah, because of their bloodline descendants. Yeah, they lose the carbon. God removed the carbon DNA. He lessened the carbon DNA and their lineage through leprosy, through a curse. Leprosy removed the high concentration of carbon in the DNA. So when the children born lacking sufficient carbon to make them black. So they just white pale. They live in a cave, stay away from the sun. You see? Yeah, because the carbon absorbs the sun, keep you from getting cancers, It blocks UV rays naturally, you see? But the white men don't have that natural sunblock. So you have to make sunblock, you see? They have sunblock lotion that they wear when they go into the beach. They call it suntan or sunblock. Yeah, but that's to block the sun from penetrating into their anatomy. There's no carbon blackness to block the sun, to reflect the sun, you see, to bring the optimal amount into the skin. So they get quickly radiated from the sun. The skin starts to flake and peel and they get skin cancer quick. And that's their curse. Yeah, forever. And that's why God get them Europe, beyond the Caucasus Mountain, where the sun don't really bother them too much. But true, they make air condition and suntan lotion, all these different things. They get a chemotherapy in case they've been in the sun too long. Yeah, they try to condition the world for them to live globally. But the European white men cannot live globally. They only can live in cold countries. That's why they penetrate South Africa. Because South Africa is very south of the equator. It's closer to the Antarctica. South Africa gets snow. So this is favorable for the white men. So you see them flock to South Africa through the apartheid, and they take occupation in South Africa and still get the South African people tricked. I just listened to the South African president this morning talking some interracial stuff. Oh, we threw out the apartheid now. White people and black people live equal in South Africa. But y'all gonna make me, that's foolishness. Cape Town, Joburg, can't see the difference where the white people live, where the black people live. It's still the same. The white people get the rich area. The black people live in the slum. Disease, poverty, prostitution. Most of the African women over there prostitute to these European people. They cater to them. They grow their food, clean their houses, they maids, they farmers, they cut the grass. Black people are slaves to white people in South Africa. Apartheid ain't gone nowhere. It's just an interracial apartheid. Like they speak of in the Middle East, a two-state, where you basically have Israel set up a state, Palestine set up a state, but Israel still apartheid Palestine. They still saying we're the superior people because God said in the Bible. So the white men in South Africa still seeing themselves as the superior people. These Zionists in South Africa. I see the white men jump at the representative when she's speaking in regards to the atrocities caused by Israel, on the children in Palestine. This white man jump up, you talking foolishness. What about the couple that get killed from Hamas? I mean, how do you compare 4,000 to 300? But because he's so Zionist, he's so white supremacist, yeah, whatever Israel and America do, We whites in South Africa, we support it. So they bring the colonial apartheid ideology in their hearts into the parliament and into the social networking of South Africa to trick the people to think, oh, we live in love, in interracial love. Whites love blacks, blacks love Indians. I talk to people in South Africa every day. That's not what I'm hearing. I'm hearing Indians spitting on South Africans. I'm hearing Europeans, slapping and kicking down. A white man could never touch me in my country. He'd be a dead man. In my country, a white man touch me? No, bro. Yes, Angel, Rastafari. That could never happen. But through apartheid, through the colonialism, through the religious system, the educational system, they train the minds of the Africans in South Africa. The Zulu gone. The Shaka Zulu gone with them people. Yeah. Them people got white people walking all over them in South Africa. They call it democracy. Oh, we have such a nice democracy going in South Africa now. We have peace. The invader occupying your land and you have peace? That's retarded. It's not realistic. You're just being, like a sellout. You're just selling out your people. You know these white people don't belong there. You know how they got there. And you know where they need to go. They need to leave. But yet you interracially say you're removing segregation. There's no segregation when a white man is in Africa. He don't belong there. Segregation is not even a part of that conversation. It's a matter who belong and who don't belong. If you don't belong there, you invade and you're occupier. I don't care which government you established in South Africa that controlling the people, manipulating the people to think that the European white man and the black South African is the same in South Africa. That is not so. One belongs there and one doesn't. And this is the emperor's speech. It's not I Priest Castle. It's the emperor. And tell this philosophy of the apartheid of the white European colonial world, which hold themselves as a race superior to the black South African people and the black Palestinian Middle East people, until they stop this, y'all stop calling for peace and what marching up and down like you're foolish. You're being fools, walking up and down, marching and stopping life. You might as well don't stop life. Let life go on until we remove these apartheid, these white supremacist colonial thinking out of every country. The white men have to come out of India. The white man have to come out of China. The white man have to come out of South Korea. The white man need to go to Europe because he's not superior to nobody. He's not come to this earth to lead no other race. The white man lead his own race. He's not the father of the nations. If anything, the black man's supposed to lead all races because we're the first. And we've given every nation the ability and the capacity to govern themselves without our interference. The only time we interfere is when the morality of any nation opposes the security and the peace of Africa. That's when we Africans fight, when it's necessary. But we don't bother other nations. Check history. We don't. We don't get in other nations' business. Because every man have his own household to take care of. But we have the white man up in our house who can't fix his house and telling us how to fix Africa. And taking out all our food out of our house, taking our women, taking our children, and talking bad about us in our house. How the hell could a white man talk bad about me in Africa? And he in Africa, living in Africa? No, that one gotta go. By any means necessary, you gotta go, bro. You can't talk bad about me in my land. You in my land, eating my food, drinking my water, breathing my air. But you have something bad to say about me? Go to Europe and breathe that air. Go drink the water in Europe, bro. Go behind the Caucasus Mountains, yeah, and go suck that ice air. Don't come in Africa sucking that air. And you have no respect for the people. You don't respect the indigenous people. You don't even claim that this their land. You telling them it's our land now? But these white people manipulative. I don't know how they get our forefathers to believe all this crap. Mandela them running up and down wasting time. Get the Zulu spirit and bind these white people out of Africa. And then they wouldn't come back invading no more. Once you kill them off and run them off, they ain't coming back to Africa no more. But if you keep playing with them, democracy and this and that, and sanctions, all this shit, I's an ancient African, bro. I come to defend Africa. I ain't got time for no sanction talks and all them things. A bunch of foolishness. It's trickery. White man colonialism, trickery. Can't sanction Africa. We have everything. So what the hell you could sanction us up? Africa only gets sanctioned when she lazy. When she lazy, she depend on other nations. But when Africa up and running, we don't depend on no one. So you can't sanction us. You got these leaders who you all be giving money, selling out the country. You can sanction them. Stop them from getting their dainties and their free money. But you can't stop Africans from living because you're sanctioned. By sanction? They can see sanctions. When we close the door, Africa, the day can come, the generation can come too. It may not be that generation, but a generation is rising that will shut the doors of Africa to all races until they behave themselves, until they respect Black African and get them dirty talk out their mouth. Every nation, when they talk about Black people, they got some dirty talk to talk. So we can lock off Africa, close it off, and let the nations them deal with themselves. And let them plead to their knees. And we can see who's the real breadbasket of the world. Where it is Europe, where there is China, where there's Russia, where there's America, where there's South America. We can see who's the real breadbasket of this world in this judgment. Watch. Because famine coming, ration coming. The pit what they dig, they foot falling into it right now. Global warming and all these different things, all these tragedy, they cause it. And Africa gonna reign and survive. I want to know how they gonna be sitting. China and your floods and all your different problems. When war break out in China, in North Korea, and you know, and your nations nuking each other. Africa, stay out their business. Get the white people out, get the Indian out, get the Chinese out, and stay out their business. If they ask advice, give it to them. If they don't ask, don't tell. We know history. We know how to survive in Africa. We know how to feed ourselves. We know how to build great kingdoms without the help of any other nation. We built Timbuktu. We built Kemet. We built science that they still can't figure out. That they take us away and lock us away so we can't study ourselves. Because if we know ourselves, we know he's a rightful ruler. The first people, inheritance, first original DNA, first original people on this planet is the Black African man. So the hell we gotta ask any question to? Who we have to ask anything to? We's the first people on the planet. Who do we have to ask anybody anything about this planet? I've been on this planet millions of years before you existed, before your race was created. Through gene modification. He was originally the black man without gene modification. Gene modification came through sin. The fallen angels. They bring Nephilims and giants into the land and bring a curse upon Neam through their teachings to bring the white race. Yeah. That's where y'all come from. Genetic modification. And y'all is a GMO. Y'all genetically modified humans. And you could tell your eye and all the different, and you see you different than the original black man. The original DNA man, you're a modified version. Not an evolutionized No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not speaking evolution. I'm speaking modification. Modification through disobedience. Eating the wrong food, doing the wrong thing, trying all these chemical mixtures and cutting the body open and doing all these different spiritual craft and things. You modify the human body. Now you have these different races coming out. And still today we have modifications. Still today. Culture is important. Culture keep you from modification. It keep you within the same bloodline, the same, a mango, say a sugar mango, and then you have, say a hairy mango, then you have a mango hair. As long as you never cross them, they just can continue to be that. But if you cross them, then you modify them. You're going to make a new fruit now. Half hairy and half... Yeah, it's going to be a modified fruit. That's what humans is. The modification over time. Same said way, even a curse coming upon a white race, but we, the black people, is superior. That is no doubt. So why the Chinese the modified, the Indian the modified, the European the modified? Why they keep bordering with the Africans and telling us we lacking and we did? People say, oh, poverty in Africa. That ain't the European fault. That's not the Indian fault. It's not the Chinese fault we have poverty in Africa. That's Africa's fault. It's not because China didn't give us education or food. It's not that India didn't give us education and food. It's because the Africans get lazy. They start stargazing, waiting on something to come in the sky instead of planting food and establishing kingdoms. Yeah, they get too religious. And they forget God is a man on earth. They start putting God in the sky and all these things. Start worshiping the sun and all these things. And then they start farming coming to land. All kind of things happening because you ain't in tune with the natural cycle of life. You modifying life through even your belief system. Come on. So we got to understand these things. Ethiopian, the original black man. So Selassie come to teach us race consciousness, not to put it away. Like Bob Marley want to make you think you could go marry white woman, marry Chinese. One love, let's get together and feel all right. No, bro. You misinterpreting His Majesty. His Majesty say, let's get together and identify race respect. Every race must be respected. That's what His Majesty say. He didn't say, let's get together and feel all right. Don't work like that. We don't just get together and feel all right. We need to sort out some stuff first. We need to sort out this race superiority. We need to figure out what's going on here. And that's what made King Emmanuel Charles Edwards rise the Ethiopia Black Africa, the Ethiopia African Black International Congress, where we stand in black supremacy now. They force us to stand in black supremacy. Now we have to stand as a government and as a Congress to address the League of Nations and the United Nations today and let them know we is the supreme being. Since you're all around here talking about supremacy, we doing the works of Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey said the KKK in America is the secret government of Europe. It's a white supremacist government. And since they want to be white supremacists, we as a black race, we have must supreme ourselves to meet them unless they can march us down. So they start the race war. So we have to prepare ourselves racially until they're done with their racism. Yeah, it's not the opposite way around. We the one must stop being racist and not be racist and change the world. No, we become racist until they stop being racist. When they stop claiming white supremacy, we stop claiming black supremacy. Our claim is true. They only ain't true. We only claiming it because they make us claim it. We have to remind them. King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, the Black Jesus Christ, come to remind the world of the truth. Black man are first. Two black people could bring a white baby. Two white people can't bring a black baby. Two cursed Gentiles cannot bring a Jew, a black Jew. It can't happen. So there is not original Jews. The original Jews are creators of all races. We could create every race. The original Jew, Hebrew, the original Amharic people, the Giz people, the Ethiopian people. We could bring any race. White man can't bring no race but himself. So how the hell he could be the original Jew? How he could be the original man? How could he be the God? How could he be supreme? And you only could bring yourself. You don't even know where everybody else come from. We black people know where everybody come from because we bring them. So we is the supreme race. So if they want to start a race war, let's race all day, bro. Yeah, we can race all day, up and down this world. We'll race all day. We can see who's going to win the race. They bring sports, we can beat them in every sport. They bring war, we can beat them in war. They bring religion, we can beat them in religion. We can beat them in everything they bring. They want race, we can race all day. Let's go, we ready. Anyway, y'all want race, bring the competition. Watch the black man supreme. Watch who's the longest liver. Y'all laughing now? Watch you gonna laugh and then. When the race is done, watch you gonna be laughing. Black supremacy and righteousness is salvation. Reason of no end. Give thanks for all who listen until this time. Those who watch until the end. Bless yourself. Don't stress up yourself. You know, I can open up the comment section. You know, for anyone who have any questions, I take this time to read through the comment section. I always appreciate those who come and, you know, bless up. My brethren come through, so I can take a little point same time. So my brethren send live. So, you know, go and do your thing. Bless up the comment section. You know, don't forget to share and subscribe me in time. It just can light me spliff. You know, and like I say, free up the comment section for a little while for once to, you know, free up, and then, you know, we can allow the video, you know. Peace and love. I go, soldier.
The strips, everything is yours. I didn't even know. He probably is moving about now.
The bright beauty.
No, dark show I do like Jason.
Oh, fine. That's good, man. That's good. Yeah, we are.
Close. You see, they say, yes, stop me. I remember that. That's what you do every day with you. Be down now. I say, oh, okay. Early, man.
Yeah, I really just a reasoning with the people internationally, but I can still have this video and, you know, I got it on the side right now. Honorable. Rastafari, yeah, I can say that thing. Yes, peace and love, royal family. So, yeah, Honorable Empress, Majesty, give thanks. R. Williams, pick up yourself, my lord. I Kim, bless up yourself. Yellow Hill, strength and love, strength and love. Knowledge is key. Yeah, man, you done know. Hunter, keyword, big up yourself. More love, Ethel Liddell. Big up yourself, same said way, you know. Rastafari is the Almighty. Give thanks for, you know, all the likes, comments, you know what I mean? Bless up yourself. It's approaching Sabbath day, so black over white ever, right? Go and set myself on a preparation, you know. Me go into a Sabbath, a day of rest. You know, long live the king, you know. Again, you know, it's just that little piece of His Majesty's speech. If you read the rest of his speech, you see how he continues, you know, to press race consciousness, you know, not the eradication of race, but race consciousness, as Marcus Garvey said. John, Marcus I, Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. All of love, peace and love. Let your rises and be scattered. Let those that hate him flee before him. Smoke is driven away, so drive them away. Marks melted before the fire, so let the wicked perish at the presence of God, the God of Ethiopia, the God of Jacob, Isaac, and Fireball Abraham in his time, the Black God of Ethiopia, King Solomon's son, Black David's son, in this time, Queen of Sheba's son, you know, greater David, greater son, Most High, Jehovah, Jah, Rastafari, peace and love, holy love, black again, super black, very black, black, Friday, very black again.